Welcome everyone to our City Council meeting for Monday, April 14th. If we could have a roll call, Madam Clerk, to establish a quorum.
Steve Holofield.
Here.
Terry McClung.
I'm here.
Susan Girding.
Here.
David Avanzino.
Here.
Rochelle Moyer.
Here.
Harry Meyer.
Here.
All right, if we could stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, if I can get a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All right, the only item that I have is to need to defer the minutes for March 24th until our next meeting date.
Can I add something to
Sure.
the agenda? Just a discussion on hospital finance.
On hospital finance? Okay. Anything else? All right, all those in favor of the minutes as amended, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I mean, the agenda is amended. Any opposed? All right, we do have some vacancies on our Planning Commission, the CAPC, Hospital, and HDC. So anybody interested in any of those positions, please contact my office and we'll get you an application out. At this time, we'll have public comments. Please limit your time to 3 minutes. And
hello, my name is Richard Webb. This is my wife, Samantha, both former employees of Eureka Springs Hospital. In recent comments, Ms. Sandy Martin stated that the 60-plus people that have came before all of you for months are all just disgruntled employees, and that it was because they were all unhappy or confused over transitioning to a new system and or designation. Well, that wasn't that. Since the latter part of 2023, CFO Cynthia Asbury and HR Director and Acting CEO Jody Edmondson have been wrongfully terminating, intimidating, and bullying people that work there and lying about it. So our question to you, Ms. Martin, is where's your proof that we're not telling the truth? All the 60-plus people that have came forward for months with their stories of what happened to them have proof they are telling the truth. So, Ms. Martin, do you have proof they aren't? Where are you getting your information from? Because it's not coming from actual experience, and it couldn't be because you weren't there. We were. So again, where are you getting your information from? From the very people responsible for the whole mess? My wife and I and all the other good people that have been wronged challenge you to either provide proof that we're lying or be quiet. In other words, either provide proof that we're all lying or stop insulting us all by saying it didn't happen, because it did. Also, Ms. Martin, you have stated that these wrongs were unintentional mistakes. Well, Ms. Martin, nothing could be further from the truth. They weren't mistakes, and it was all very intentional. As for you, Mr. Berry, what is it going to take for you to uphold your oath and the law, to hold these people accountable for the pain they have caused and the laws they have broken, and give the people that have been hurt by all of it the justice they deserve? More legal action, maybe? I guess we'll see. Just a reminder, Mr. Berry and Ms. Martin, we're not going anywhere until we receive both. To all of you, we need leaders with integrity, not more political ping pong matches. It's time to drop the egos and do what's right. Thank you.
Samantha Webb, former medical records clerk. It is astonishing the lengths to which a person or a people will go in order to avoid a truthful mirror. That was said by James Baldwin. Sandy Martin, Jody Edmondson, Cynthia Asbury, to name a few, have proven this to be true. It's interesting and very telling that while we continue to be seen as disgruntled and looked at with questioning eyes, the administration is still drawing a paycheck. There's no investigation, business as usual. And if you cared so damn much, one would think the hospital would have been on the agenda long before now. There would be no veto, much less one that came out 3 days later, no canceled meetings. You might as well look at all of us and admit, you're right, I don't care. You might as well do that, Don't believe everything you read. Who are you trying to protect? You are the mayor, for crying out loud, yet you have no authority? This isn't about who did what first. This is not about whether the hospital stays open or not. It's not about getting our jobs back. It's about accountability. It's about transparency. The commission website has yet to update their meeting times, by the way. That's interesting. People's lives were affected. You haven't heard from both sides? Really? I'm sorry, who said no comment over and over and over, Cynthia Asbury had the gall to turn her back while employees came up to speak. Jody Edmondson looks down. Sandy Martin stands up and says, there are a lot of rumors going around the community. Shall I go on? This entire room should be filled to the brim. The whole room. You, every one of you, should be angry, and not because we're here at every meeting. Be patient. What in the world do you think we've been doing? Every one of you should watch Erin Brockovich, where people did things knowingly, didn't think they had to answer for anything, people's lives affected. You might want to watch that. They are citizens of Carroll County too, so I would think that if we can all get up here and talk, Cynthia Asbury, somebody could come up here and talk, not turn their back on us, not ignore us, not wait a few months to go, well, we'll have everybody come meet us and see all the positives. We have no patience.
Hi, I'm Heather Wilson. I'm a full-time Eureka Springs resident, and I am somebody that is receiving threats because of speaking out on the hospital, like, I know where you sleep at night, and I'm going to get rid of you. I've said it before, and I'll say it again, silence is complicity. I want to talk about patterns. I talked about that the last time that I was up here. In June 2021, I was admitted to Eureka Springs Hospital with double pneumonia and COVID. The admitting physician, I will not say his name, he had from 2015 to 2020, he was being overseen by the medical board. His license had been temporarily suspended. He could not prescribe pain management pills, and this was covered widely by the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette, et cetera. And the way that he got his medical license back was by saying, I will stop being a pain management doctor and I will become an internist. Then he got his license back. In 2020, he had to petition to ask for permission to sit for another exam. This doctor had the right to go to the medical board and fight for his license, but me, being rushed at 12:30 in the morning to the hospital, had the right to know that the medical care that I was receiving was from a physician that I would have approved as a 3-time cancer survivor, an alpha-gal patient. And then we talk about the woman who was arrested. I don't know what background checks, if any, were performed on the doctor. I hope there were. We know no background check was performed on the woman who was arrested and is now serving 10 years in prison. The reason, and I will address the hospital commission in person because finally I will have not a meeting for school in order to do that. But for retired anesthesiologist Dr. Carlisle to criticize the press, how dare he, for doing their jobs? And I am the one that brought it to light years later. So he criticized me for doing so. And the reason for that is a memo went out to the employees threatening them with disciplinary action if they spoke of it, which Arkansas Code, you have legal counsel. That's not okay. Employees have written me and said, we wanted to know, how did that happen? And what were they going to do to stop it from happening again? And we weren't even allowed to ask. It's a years-long pattern. I only have 3 minutes. There is so much more unfolding here, but I am going to say I FOIA'd the same records that Commissioner Martin forwarded to you, and I read them, and they are not compelling, and actually I thought it was a joke. As somebody who has spent 25 years around healthcare and in healthcare, it was a joke. And
Is there any other public comments? If not, we will move on to our unfinished business. Item number 1, sewer update. Get a motion to discuss.
So moved.
Second.
All right.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So a few updates on the wastewater plant and the progress that we're making out there. So today I met with McClellan Engineering to review some of the solids handling issues that we're having with the plant. These issues are really coming about because of the compost facility and the state's unwillingness to renew our permit. So right now, currently, we haul from the plant to the public works yard via dump truck. The dump truck dumps into a roll-off dumpster, and the dumpster is picked up by Carroll County Solid Waste, and then it's hauled to their location in Berryville. And Cards is contracted by Carroll County Solid Waste to haul it to Danville, Arkansas, to a landfill. The current permit that we have states that the sludge is either to be hauled to the compost facility or directly to the landfill. Berryville and Green Forest handle their sludge hauling operations the same way we do with Carroll County Solid Waste. So, what we met about today was reviewing the sludge processing building and what modifications we can make to place a dumpster at the wastewater treatment plant. We'll have more information for the council at the workshop meeting scheduled for April 21st at 11 a.m. So a little bit of good news is we had that large rain event. We ended up with a total over the entire rain event of 8.4 inches of rain. We had 5 million gallons of wastewater that ran through the plant on Saturday and Sunday alone. We only had one issue, and that was a lightning strike that caused a surge protector to pop at the plant, and one of our influent control valves was damaged in that process. Both issues were repaired really quickly by staff, and there were no overflows or illicit discharges, so everything worked out okay. So aside from that, that's about all I have to report on. We'll have more information on Monday, but I'll stand for any questions.
Composting.
Yes.
What's the story on, are we going to be able to do some composting or?
No, the state will not renew our permit. They want us to increase the capacity of the compost facility to be able to store 6 months worth of sludge, which is going to be dramatically larger than what we have right now. And due to the topographical nature of our area, it's just virtually impossible to have a facility that big in Eureka Springs.
All right.
Yes.
What time's the workshop on the 21st?
11 a.m.
Simon, one of the things that I noticed during this last rain, living where I live, I call it the moat, that big drainage ditch, is that right at North Main and Magnetic, underneath the bridge, there's a lot of debris that's been piling up, and I think I saw your workers actually out there having to dig some of it out. Is there any way that they can look at that stuff like every 6 months to make sure there's not trees and branches and all that kind of stuff? Because it was pretty bad.
Yeah, I have to admit that I haven't looked under the Magnetic Bridge myself, but I do look under the Mill Hollow Bridge quite a bit. And yeah, we can definitely check on that more often.
Okay.
All right. Anyone else? Any questions for Simon?
Yes.
Water leak situation, how we doing? I mean, it's.
Yeah, we have no leaks right now at all, so,
Good.
yeah.
That we're aware of.
That we're aware of course, yeah. So
Yeah.
our percentage of water loss has gone down dramatically. I mean, we're down like 40, I think last time, I think it was like 42% off the top of my head, which is pretty great considering we're like at almost 60%. So,
Not bad.
yeah, there's still work to be done, but you know, it's a vast improvement over where we were.
Absolutely.
As long as we keep moving that direction.
That's right. That's right.
All right. If there's nothing else, thanks, Simon.
Thank you.
All right, next item of business is get a motion to discuss the new business at Tushy. David Avanzino.
Motion to discuss?
Second.
All right, David.
So excited about it, Steve. So I did have a Zoom meeting with, her name is Amanda. She is with she's with Tushy. She's our marketing liaison to their bigger design team, our creative team. They are super, super excited that this is actually even possible. They've never done anything like this before. They've done events before in different cities, but not at this level to actually help a city with its wastewater problem. They're super excited. They're working out the details. We see some sort of huge event in Basin Park. They're going to have, I think they call it Tushy Secrets or something, where you walk into a booth and they actually let you experience the bidet. Don't ask me how.
In Basin Park.
They let you experience it. It's an attended situation, and then people come out and kind of give what their experience was, and it's very funny. You can find it on YouTube. There's also a booth where they do confessions, bathroom confessions about what you think about when you're sitting on the toilet. So it's very funny. It's a great PR campaign, great for the city. And at this point, all I'm waiting on is to hear from the larger creative team. And once I do that, then Mayor, I'll involve you in those conversations as well, if you want to be involved, and Simon as well. So yeah, that's where we stand right now. They are super excited. It's just going to be the corporate wait process.
Do you know when this is going to be?
We don't know yet. Once they have approved everything and the city has approved everything, we will more than likely do something in the spring or summer months. And it may be actually 2026. We just don't know yet.
All right, anybody else? All right. All right, going on then, our next item of business is hospital update on management discussion. Susan Gruning, motion to discuss.
Motion to discuss.
Second.
All right, Susan, you want to lead off? And
So I feel like that,
speak in the microphone a little bit.
I feel like that we are still delayed and that we're just treading water. We have met with the hospital commission. We have expressed our concerns repeatedly. I understand that there is still a hunt for a CEO. The last we heard, there were some great possibilities, but no one has been hired. Despite repeated and clear concerns expressed by both the community and the city council, the current administration still remains. And it's an administration in which there is little to no trust and confidence, and nothing yet seems to be changing. I would like to, the critical services like the lab is still on divert as of today. They hired a contractor who ended up quitting. The contractor felt like they were doing the responsibilities of a director. The director that, this is hearsay, Sandy, the director has, from what I understand, does not have the qualifications yet, and I guess working on those. So they are trying to get that up to speed. Right now they have a part-time employee that can't possibly work every day. The contractor was said to have quit because they did not feel it was a conducive place to work, so they did not want to hang around, basically. I also wanted to go around the table, since we as council cannot speak individually. I would like everyone here to give an update on anything that they know of or have found out that we can share openly in front of the public.
I'll be glad to share what I know.
Well, before you go on,
Sorry.
it's regarding the communication with the management. You know, they have contacted Dr. House, and he's been on vacation. And he just came back, I believe, today, and they have a meeting, I believe, this week with Dr. House to discuss his management letter that he sent off. So
That is true. I did send some questions that Sandy was kind enough to answer. CEO had not been hired. Dr. House is scheduled to meet before the commission on April 21st. I did also ask about if there was any interest in looking outside of Dr. House as well, and that, like a hospital management company. That part was not answered. And then as far as, I did ask when we thought we were going to have another meeting, because I think the longer we wait, the longer this all seems to go on. And I also feel like, I don't know about anybody else, but I'm feeling like we're being pacified, and they're going in the direction they want to go with the CEO and not considering other options, which I would like a due diligence on looking at all avenues to see what's best for the city. So.
okay. Steve?
I've not heard any rumors or information about the hospital myself. I did read the two, I listened to the two audio tapes from the budget meeting that I think Kim sent out to everybody back in October, November. Pretty lengthy meetings that cover a lot of information and stuff, so it was very informative. Again, I wish if they were going to not be here at the auditorium doing their workshops, that these regular workshops could be posted somewhere so people could at least listen to them. And that's the advantage of YouTube, when they're recorded here, people can go in and look them up and stuff. But maybe we can post them on the city website or something, or the hospital.
I think they're going to be starting to meet down here.
Okay.
Going to have to be.
Are they? Good.
Yeah.
Because I think the transparency is real important. It's building the trust back with the community. Understand, Sandy said, it's convenient up there to get staff to come over and talk to them, but I think right now, especially, they need to build a community trust back, and that needs to happen here. So that's all I have to say.
Mr. Almanzino?
Yeah, similar to what Ms. Gruning has heard, that we're back on divert as of the end of February. I also heard something that I don't even know if it's allowable, that the laboratory refrigerator went down, and they're now having to store reagents and lab work in a cafeteria refrigerator.
I heard that too, yes.
That's what I've heard.
Lightning knocked it out.
It's in the dietary department.
Okay. Let's see here. And also, one other thing, I do know that there are other people interested in the management of the hospital. I recently received an email that Mercy in Berryville is interested. That comes from the VP of Patient Services, Jason Wildeman. I hope I'm saying that right. So they are interested. I know that I saw Dr. House at an event not too long ago, right before he went on vacation. He is also interested, so I look forward to being present at those meetings to see what's going on with them.
All right. Ms. Moyer?
I would just, I agree with both of you. I think trust is still lacking in the commission and the hospital. I'd love to see us continue to work together to try to find solutions and support the commission in any way we can. I don't have any specific information. I don't think that has been shared already, but I fully support what's been said.
Well, I think the Titanic is still headed towards the iceberg, and it's not a joke. It's when we did our workshop with the hospital commission, I was told that if I had suspected I had a heart attack, that they could definitely take care of me even though they were on alert. Well, I've learned from my cardiologist that who's going to check my troponin, what is that? Troponin levels? I guess they could draw blood and take it to Berryville, to their lab, which, you know, the first hour of a heart attack is very important. I would not recommend anyone go to this emergency room if it doesn't have a fully staffed lab. And, you know, I heard there was 2 lab people that came and left because of whatever. And nurses are now carrying blood samples to Berryville, not commission members. They don't have phlebotomists. Of course, you know, this is all medical terms, so I'm listening to nurses and doctors. I don't know, but I know that I was gaslighted during that workshop because, in fact, you don't want to go to a hospital that does not have a lab operating if you suspect you're having a heart attack. Time is of the essence. What's going to happen? People are coming and going. There's still not the staff, and it's been months now. No staff in the lab. It's disturbing. I think the CEO, the CFO have run everyone off. They've created a hostile environment, and it's not going to get any better unless they're gone. That's all I got to say.
Mr. McClung?
Well, I want the hospital commission to understand that we're certainly not trying to micromanage them, or to manage the hospital. That's not what we're after. We do feel that we have an obligation to the city to be aware of what's going on, and any suggestions that we hear, and when there's the rift that's going on now, and it's very prevalent, that it's our obligation to look into it and try to help with recommendations for fixing things. Not that what we're going to say is going to actually come to fruition, but we're involved, and we're not stupid people sitting around this table, and so we kind of understand how it all works to some degree, at least in the management end of it, and I too have heard about Mercy's interest, and it's coming through Berryville, but it's not just Berryville that's interested. It's Mercy, the Mercy system, that's interested. And to me, something like that, if you can get them to come in, I mean, that improves your credibility immediately. I mean, that's they're a force to reckon with in the medical industry. So I've had procedures there at Mercy and in Rogers, and a lot of family and friends, and I have relatives that work there, and I just know that it's a great facility. Whether they're actually going to come through with something, I can't say, but I think it definitely has to be given the opportunity to grow if it's there, just because of what they have to offer. I don't want to lose the hospital. Said it many times, and I fear that the longer it takes to do this, that our chances of losing the hospital increase. because nothing happens to the plant there, and that's my biggest concern, is that the plant itself is borderline at best. So all we can do is what we can, and we're trying. That's all.
All right. I guess I have a question. Who was it, Mr. Avanzino, did you say that you contacted somebody in Berryville and they'd contacted
Stand by.
one of the hospital commissions or something?
Tom Gurr, who is an administrator at Mercy Hospital.
Did he contact did he send a notification or anything to the commission?
I have no idea. I don't know.
I mean, how did you find out?
I'm not willing to disclose that at this point. I was forwarded an email from him that they are interested.
Well, Ms. Martin, there's a couple of questions here I think that you could help us out with.
I'm still getting over the Tushy experiment, so, you know.
Mercy Hospital in Berryville?
Yes, and you should say that. I just emailed Jason today.
Oh, good.
About it. So, yeah, we're, pursuing that. We have Dr. House hopefully coming to the commission meeting on Monday. He got back. I re-invited him this morning. I haven't heard back from him yet, but I think he'll probably be there, so we'll pursue that. On the refrigerator, it was hit by the storm and it blew the circuit board out. That's been fixed.
Okay.
So that's not the case. On the lab issue, the lab is up and running. We can handle heart attacks. We're on blood divert. We have 4 RPNs. We have 1 full-time tech. We have a lab director, a pathologist, and a lab manager. The lab director is finishing up her CLIAs right now, and that will be done. 1 other tech, we're just down 1 tech. That tech will be on board hopefully by the end of this week, and they have to go through their competencies. But the only divert we're on in lab is blood divert, which means if dispatch gets a call and it's somebody that needs blood or transfusion, they take them somewhere else. Anything else comes to us. But the lab is running.
Speaking of heart attacks, I think somebody down at the wastewater treatment plant had a heart attack and went to our hospital, wasn't it?
Yes. And we treated him just fine. And
from what I understand, he felt like he got satisfactory and excellent.
He went out of his way to come to the hospital and also write a letter. Yeah.
I don't think he had any complaints from what I heard. So, was there another question, Mr. Avanzino?
Yeah. One of my questions is that it kind of sounds like what we're offering at our hospital is essentially an urgent care facility.
It's a giant emergency room.
Well, and the reason I asked that is because I was also informed that there is no radiology. There's no way to do x-rays.
No, we have a full radiology department that, and I will tell you this, it's temporarily on divert because we had 2 unanticipated things happen. One of the radiologists had to go to California to care for her brother who had cancer. The other radiologist this morning was sent to Mercy in Springfield with kidney stones. So we've got somebody coming in hopefully tomorrow. But no, we have a full radiology department.
Okay.
Yes, Ms. Moyer.
So I hear you say that you're interested in, you've spoken with Mercy, and you have some kind of a document from Dr. House. So are you thinking, is the commission planning to put an RFP together? Is full management of the hospital going to be considered?
We're going to consider it, absolutely, yeah. We want to meet, we feel like we have an obligation first and foremost to Dr. House, because he submitted his interest a while back. We did get a more detailed and revised proposal from him that we want to discuss with, and then hopefully get a meeting set up soon with Jason and Mercy and see what their level of interest is and where we need to go from there. At that point, if it's decided that we need to pursue that and that it's a good option, we will do the formal RFP.
Anybody else?
I do have one final question. I'm sorry, Council. Mr. and Mrs. Webb mentioned earlier that the current administration sent out a memo to all employees that said pretty much a gag order. Is that true, that they would face disciplinary action?
What? I'm sorry, I didn't.
They had stated, and correct me if I'm wrong, anyone, that the staff was issued essentially a gag order, a memorandum that went out to all staff that said, do not discuss issues that happen in this hospital, or you will face some kind of disciplinary action.
Yeah.
When,
That is what they said, correct?
Yes,
I heard that
they
correctly?
did.
Okay.
Yes, you heard correct.
no, that, I know nothing about that. No, nothing was sent out. No, we would never do that.
Has anybody seen a copy of that?
I have not. They said it. That's why I just wanted to
No,
bring
they
it
were
up.
just saying it up here.
Okay.
The only thing I know that is so distantly connected to that is the previous CEO sent the commission an email stating that she didn't want us to have interaction with the employees. And I mentioned that at the workshop, but no.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I do remember that. It
We would
caught me
never
off
do
guard when they said that. That's why I wanted to ask you since you're standing
I
here.
appreciate
So,
that. Thank
yeah.
you. Appreciate it.
I do have one more question. Have all of the contractors and doctors that have worked there been paid for what
Yes.
they've done?
Yes.
April German has not received her money yet.
Well,
It's past 30 days.
she did not turn in the proper paperwork to do that. Our attorney has contacted her attorney. We got a letter from her stating that there was a $10,173 outstanding invoice. And Gabe's following up on that, and she turns the proper paperwork in, we'll write her a check. It's not an issue.
You know, she was on the road to train people, to have the lab put together, and then something happened. What was it that happened?
Potential data breach. I think we explained that at the workshop.
Well, has the state been notified that there was a data breach?
Yeah, potential data breach.
Has the state been notified?
Yes, and you have a letter in that packet when we notified the state that we were going on divert and the reason why. And data breach was mentioned in that letter.
That's interesting. But they haven't found a data breach.
Yes, sort of we have, yes.
Huh? Sorta? Okay. A sorta data breach.
She may not be allowed to say, could be in a lawsuit or something.
Could be. I don't know.
All right, do we have some other questions?
Thank you for showing up and answering.
Be glad to anytime. Thank you. And there was a question that you said I didn't answer.
Oh, but you did. You ended up, it was about when I said Dr. House and/or a management company, but you said you contacted Jason, so.
And on the workshop, I'm still trying to coordinate. Everybody's schedules are screwy. I asked the commission to come up with like 2 or 3 dates that would work so that I can get that to Butch
Awesome.
and coordinate that workshop. But we hope to get that done soon.
Yes, sir, Mr.
Yeah,
McClung.
just on the Dr. House, he had 2 different options, at least on what was,
You might want to move your microphone over a little bit.
what Dr. House had, he had 2 different options for his payment. Was that not correct?
One,
I thought there was 2, a fee or a percentage.
yeah, whichever is greater.
Yeah,
Right.
okay. So that is an option, and of course, we'll know more next week, so I'll not push that right now.
We'll know more too. We have a lot of questions
That's
on the
what I said, yeah.
proposal.
You'll know more next week.
Yeah.
I'll let that go.
And of course, the council realizes that any agreement or anything like that comes before the council anyway for final approval.
Right. Right.
Okay. That's good. I did not know that, really. I did.
And we are actively still seeking a CEO. We've narrowed it down. We may have a recommendation on Monday. and we're close to hiring a new marketing manager, too.
So before offering to the CEO, are you going to explore Dr. House and Mercy as well?
We will do it kind of simultaneously and make a decision one way or the other.
All right. You want to go into the finance question?
Yeah, so kind of just
Get a motion
following up.
to discuss
Motion to
hospital finance?
Motion to discuss hospital finance.
Okay. We need Ms. Martin up here, or is this,
I don't have questions per se yet.
okay.
I just wanted to provide this for you to look at. Putting things
Pass those out
together
for
at the
you.
last minute. Okay. Yeah, so kind of just following up on, I think one of the reasons why the council has been so concerned about a possible management company kind of leads to the financials. And we talked a little bit about it in the workshop, but I didn't have a chance to really explain some of the things that I saw. So I actually did this analysis in preparation for the financial meeting that we said we would have with the commission. And then, of course, I hadn't heard anything, so I wasn't sure what the status of that was. So I wanted to go ahead and present that here. Before today, I was concerned that maybe full management wasn't being considered. And again, the only reason that I think this is even before City Council is because of the sort of lack of trust and continuing stories that have a similar element to them. So because I requested that huge stack of data, I actually took all the information that was in those PDF, what were probably reports from, look like QuickBooks or something like that, and I created Excel worksheets to do what's called a 12-month rolling data analysis, financial analysis. So that's what I've shared with you, and I plan to, after this meeting, share the actual Excel file with you because it's way easier to read than the tiny print. But essentially, there were just a few things that stood out to me that I wanted to bring to the council's attention. And I mentioned this a little bit in the commission meeting, but I was able to be a little bit more specific. So this rolling 12-month financial analysis is pretty common, something that you can do to kind of filter out sort of cyclical changes over the year. And I can even update this with March financials, if the commission will provide them, just to kind of see where we're going. But this is often used to show trends in revenue and expenses, and it's really helpful for comparing to budgets. So the three things that stood out to me, and I used a sort of graphical representation of that data to show you, which you'll see on the paper there. The expenses, which particularly related to staffing, are trending up dramatically so. At the same time, revenues are down. So when you adjust for a one-time payment of $1.7 million and you just look at the net revenue, you can see that the revenue is going down. So you have expenses going up and revenues going down. At some point, those things are going to meet, right? And you're going to run out of money. So that was my initial purpose in bringing this forward. Then finally, I took the last 6 months of data, right? So this is consistency on the administration side. Possibly there may be some changes in terms of the amount of contract labor, but don't know. So just using the last 6 months of data, I projected, right, to see where we might end up at the end of the year. And it looks like we could lose up to $500,000. That's with nothing changing. So I'm not an accountant. This is not an area I feel super confident in other than just the numbers. Like, I know how to use an Excel sheet. I have a master's in statistics and analytics. But What I do think is clear is that in the current operating form of the hospital, we have some significant financial challenges. I think even Sandy and the commission acknowledge this, but I'm not sure that everyone is on the same page about how significant the financial challenges are. So this is why I'm bringing it to the council. What do we do about that? I mean, we're involved in this scenario because of community feedback and now because of a concern about whether or not we're going to be able to continue to keep the hospital open. Mayor?
Ms. Greening?
So it is concerning, and you did point out a lot of great areas of concern when you looked over all the data that you, Rochelle, asked for. So I'm glad you went through it. What I'm concerned about is what you saw in just the last 6 months with the current administration. I feel that perhaps, I'm not saying they're not doing their job, maybe they're not qualified to do the job, which is why I think it's imperative that we do look at Dr. House's recommendation or Mercy's recommendation. Just looking at the data.
All right. Anybody else?
So I do have, oh, go ahead.
Sorry.
Do you have something?
So, number one, thank you for putting all this together. I could never have done this. And by the looks of your graph for the trends in revenues and expenses, when do you think that the two are going to meet, which would signify the downturn and the closure of the hospital? That's what I'm assuming.
I wasn't looking for that specifically. Mainly, I just set some trend lines in there to show, to make it easier to see what the trend was. I mean, those things could be done. Again, I'm not an accountant, so I'm just sort of trying to understand what the data is telling us. But I think that's a great question. I mean, that's a question that I would like answered, right? Because if it becomes a real issue and there's no money to continue, where is that money going to come from? And I mentioned in the workshop before, you know, would the commission come to us? And would we be expected to reallocate to try to make up the gaps? I don't know what happens. These are the questions that I have. I was thinking, you know, should the city council arrange for an independent audit and projections from someone who is an accountant who works in finance, so that we can have that answer, and also have someone independently looking at the information. So maybe it's more acceptable. And secondly, and this is probably a legal question, so I'm glad you're here. If an independent audit was to indicate the similar concerns that I have here, what are the options that council might have? If, you know, I know we've had conversations about worst case scenario that the commission gets dissolved or abolished. What would happen at that point? Would the hospital employees become a department of the city? Can the city council contract directly for a full management company? Like what are those options if this is in fact really happening, which I believe it may be?
Well, obviously it'd be a significant thing. I mean, we're talking about a couple things happening. One being what would happen if an audit came back that showed the hospital to be in financial distress, essentially, and what would the options be? As a city council, you retain the ultimate decision to abolish the commission, and if that happened, I am not aware of a city directly operating a hospital in the past. I am aware of Silent Springs and Mena and some other hospitals that were city-owned that were all operated through the commission process. So that would be something I would want to look into a little bit to see whether there's been any AG's opinions or case law on that point. I'm familiar with the statutes. But essentially, there are some commissions, such as Planning Commission, that states that if you're going to do municipal planning, you have to have a commission. So in order to, as a prerequisite to do planning, you have to have that commission. I would want to check that to see whether there was that same prerequisite for hospital. I could certainly do that and get back to you all. But absent that, then it would be run like a department.
Understand. Well, and I think that's premature. Obviously, that's not where we want to go. I just have a lot of concerns that is the full commission aware of the financial situation? That would be my question. Is the full commission aware of the financial situation? And perhaps Sandy could talk to that.
Now, I want to interject before Ms. Martin gets up here. You do know that they're audited by Forbes, which is a pretty nationally well-known auditing company.
And I understand what those audits are looking for. I'm asking about something different. I'm asking for an accountant, for someone who works in finance to look at what's happening right now and do forecasting to see what's going to happen in the future. Because even what they have now does not match up with their budget, which makes me nervous that the commission is not fully aware of. I just don't have a lot of trust in that. And it's not personal. I don't want to make this personal. We just have a fantastic community asset, and I want to make sure that we can keep it, right? So
okay.
Nothing personal.
I don't take it personal.
Okay.
At all. It isn't. This is, it's business and it's community, and I think we all share the same concerns and the same vision, and that's what we're working for. The budget is different. Absolutely, it's different. Remember when we did the budget and remember what we went through. I think I mentioned at the workshop that we're going to review our budget. We didn't have a baseline until April of last year, and that was kind of iffy to start with the REH. We're aware of the financial situation, very aware of it. We're going to be taking a couple of more hits on some major expenses like we did last month. We had to buy about $320,000 worth of technology equipment because we have to build our entire network over again. We've got some significant bills coming in that we anticipated. They're going to hit now. Yes, the revenue went down because we changed from critical access to REH, so there was some inpatient.
But even since then, right? Even since then, you've had a significant drop in revenue.
Yeah. And we have because of the services and the outpatients, and we were on diversion. And all the community lack of confidence in the hospital. So we didn't anticipate it to be that when we did the budget. We anticipated and developed the budget based on what we thought was the reality of REH going without interruption, and that didn't happen. So we know that we have to revise our budget and be more conservative with it. We have, according to the Department of Finance and Administration, we have over 236 days worth of cash on hand, which and we're going to bring somebody from the state, the Arkansas State Hospital Association up to give a state of the state. There are some hospitals that have 9 days cash, and there are many hospitals that are now having to pay daily in cash to their suppliers and their vendors and their staff. So it's not an easy time for a lot of hospitals. We're in a little bit better shape than that. Plus, we have about $7 million in the bank. So are we concerned about it? Yes, absolutely we are. We have to build the revenue back up. We've lost almost a year, and we need to build that back up. Are we aware of it? Absolutely we're aware of it, and we're as concerned as you are. But we have no intention to see the hospital close or go into deep debt.
So what's going to change this trajectory then?
What's going to change the trajectory is hopefully stabilizing all the departments and then being able to start building outpatient services and other services that are there. Obviously, getting confidence back to get more referrals. We've got a lot of work to do there. We had an onboarding meeting with UAMS and IDHI for telehealth to kick that off soon. We think that's going to help our revenue, and that's going to help our care to be able to reach more people more effectively.
And realistically, what do you think the timeline is for what you would consider stabilization?
Hopefully we are a lot more stable now than we were 6 months ago. That's what we have been working hard at doing and getting over the survey. We hope that we are now in the beginning of that solid stabilization to where we can build.
I would argue that the finances say something different in the last 6 months.
Say something different from what? Stabilization?
That you're stabilizing, yeah.
Well, we've had a lot of expenses go out, and we've had a loss of revenue. There's going to be some give and take on that, but.
Yeah, I mean, I acknowledge that the transition is something, and I acknowledge that it's difficult to run a rural hospital. There's not that many of them, so obviously it's not super easy. And I just there's a disconnect there, right, from what you're saying and what I see in the numbers. And I'm just looking for. I don't mean to press, and this may not need to be continued at this meeting, but I'm struggling to understand what's happening.
I think when we have our financial workshop, that we can really dive into it and answer your questions and answer our own questions.
When is that workshop going to take place?
I don't know. Like I said, I'm still trying to get 2 or 3 dates to get to the mayor to coordinate it from the commission.
But it sounds like you're wanting to redo your budget post haste quickly.
We need to revise it. Yeah. I mean, we had set in plan that we were going to revise it every quarter, so we're about there now anyway. But we knew in February that the budget was off.
Ms. Gruening?
So I'm still not hearing, I don't think Rochelle's, and I could be speaking for you, what she's seeing here with revenue and expenses, there's going to be a collision, and a collision probably soon. But I'm hearing from you that it's getting better, we're now more stable if people don't leave, and you get consumer confidence back, which I honestly still don't think will happen with the current administration, especially when we've got blips in the budget and this trend that we're on. So while we may fix the budget, and I do recognize you have expenses going out, but here it says that there's a potential loss of almost $500,000 that is not reflected in the current budget. That's pretty damning. I mean, that should not be in there. In my mind, if I had a CFO, they may no longer be with the company.
I agree.
There's a sense of urgency.
Steve?
I don't think anybody here is surprised the hospital's losing money. That's just common sense. Knowing what's going on up there right now with a lot of people not going to the hospital, that's just a given. But I also believe, listening to the budget meetings, there's 3 hours of my life I won't get back. But they were pretty vigilant about going over every detail. And I'm sure with this crisis they're in now, they're going to have to back up and look at the budget again and figure out where they're at. But I also don't believe that Mercy or Dr. House or anybody would take over management of the hospital without figuring out the financials along with all the rest of that stuff. So
Right.
why would they? Would you take on a hospital that's going to sink in a year? You know, they would have a plan, I'm sure, if they took over the hospital, to how to pull it all together, including community confidence staffing, financials, everything, so.
Which I think is what we're looking for, right? Which I think, I mean, at least I personally, that's what I'm looking for now, right now.
Yeah.
If
It's a sense
from
of
someone
urgency.
coming in, but also the people who are currently in it.
Well, I think we are scheduled to have a finance meeting. I appreciate your work in here. I think this is some good information. And I think it needs to be looked at in depth as what you mentioned, so we can see exactly. I know my experience too with hospitals, they have their ebb and flows up there. And I think with a lot of the negativity, there's probably a lot of reasons why we're not seeing a lot of the input and the income that normally would be up there. But that's besides the point. I think they're also looking at working with ways to increase that income. And I think that's the other thing, is increasing the revenue and doing that by telehealth would be a large impact, I think, on the hospital in there, at least from my experience with the hospital organizations. So unless there's more questions, we can defer this until our hospital meeting with the finance so we can get more information from the hospital commission and from you and from see where we can go from there.
I'm okay with that as long as it's sooner than later.
Absolutely. I agree. So, is there any other comments or questions? All right. Thank you very much, Ms. Moyer, for that information. All right, that concludes our meeting, and we got to get into our agenda setting. Any comes up real quick? Mr. Almazino?
I discussed this briefly with Simon earlier today. I would like to discuss in the next meeting looking at some sort of discounted or deferment plan for seniors and people below the poverty line for utilities.
I'm not sure legally we can do that.
Well, I'm not looking, and Simon asked this question as well, if I'm asking for a discount on service, that I'm not asking for. What I'm asking for is, what I understand is that they issue a water bill that's due on a certain day. If it's not paid by that day, then they're automatically issued a $40 late payment fee. That's what I'm asking. We sort of take a look at that and see what we can do.
That's done by ordinance. You want to change the ordinance, we can do that.
I just want to bring it up for discussion. I'll talk with Simon before the next meeting.
Okay.
And if I need to take it off, I'll let Ida know.
All right.
We did that during COVID.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Council comments. Ms. Groening?
So I want to give a big kudos to the team that have been here restoring the floor with Bob Yap from, I think, Discovery. He goes around the world and offers recommendations. And they're going to be doing a little bit at a time. It's total volunteers that come in and do it, and it looks amazing. And the other thing that I had, update on Tower House. Harry, they do have, and Terry, live-in managers. It's a husband and husband team. One works, one doesn't. So the one that doesn't, their family, I guess, had a hospitality business, and they're excited to get into it. So I just wanted to let you guys know about that. And the Music Awards, since I get to go before CAPC folks here, the Music Awards was great, and thank you, David, for inviting us. I saw Mayor there, and Ida looked spectacular. I didn't get the memo on black tie, so I wore jeans. But it was very nice. So kudos to everybody that put that on.
Mr. Holyfield?
Yeah, the Music Awards went great. First annual Eureka Springs Music Awards, and very honored to be one of the presenters. It was a great plug for the CAPC with a nice younger crowd there listening to what's going on. I was very honored to be there. CAPC's next full meeting, April 23rd at 6 p.m. here in the auditorium.
Mr. Avanzino.
Yeah, I just want to say thanks to Sandy for standing there and answering questions. I know it's not easy being in the hot seat, and also to you, Mr. Mayor, for allowing us to ask the questions, for Ms. Gruning, for the way you put it out there so that we could speak to each other about this issue. I also want to thank the CAPC staff for a great music award show. I was, quite frankly, floored at how well it was done and how many people attended. I mean, it was fantastic. If you missed it, make sure you come next year. Also, Rochelle, thank you for your due diligence on all the hospital stuff that you've done. Your first graphic was like all I needed to see. It explained a lot, so thank you. And also, thanks to Main Street Eureka for providing Bob Yap to the auditorium, because that floor back there, if you haven't seen it, you need to look at it. It's amazing. Yeah, so thanks to Main Street Eureka for doing that.
Ms. Moyer.
I appreciate all of you. And I actually did miss the Music Awards, but I have heard so much positive comments from it, like top-notch, amazing. So I will definitely be at the next one because I feel like I really missed out. And congratulations on your recognition.
Shucks.
Mr. Myers.
Thanks, Rochelle, for the perspective of the Titanic sinking. There's another reason why the Titanic may sink. It's because it's on again, off again staff at the hospital. The hospital cannot operate without a staff, and they can't operate without a full-time staff. And I'm happy that our guy with Public Works was fine after his heart attack, but my cardiologist did not mince words when he told me, don't go to the hospital if it's on alert. They have to take your blood, they have to take it to Berryville, they have to test it there. It's not a good idea. So, did everybody get that letter from Drews Ellis? This is back in March, and it's the same. We're talking about the same thing today that we were months ago about the hospital. And, you know, I'm sorry to say, but the commission they've applauded the interim CEO, HR, and CFO for their accomplishments, but they don't see what's happening. The cycle continues of placing people in positions who they know rather than on their credentials of merit and experience within the industry. The hospital will continue in this cycle unless action is taken to change it and implement proper structure of operations within the commission and the hospital. The council is the senior leadership of the city, and has the responsibility for oversight of the commission, which in turn has the oversight of the hospital. I hope that you feel empowered as a council member to break the chain, because to this point, they've been faking it until they make it. With the loss of confidence of the community, it is necessary to make change. When a leader loses the confidence of the people they oversee, they are replaced. Don't hesitate to think that there's not an opportunity to initiate a plan for service recovery that would result in a positive outcome for the community. With the interim senior management in place, it would allow time to continue operations with confidence while other issues are dealt with appropriately. Even if there would be a consideration for Dr. House to reinstitute his proposal, or conversations between the council and him to determine if it would be a good decision for the city. Sincerely, Drew Ellis. That's all I got to say. Let's fix it.
Mr. McClung?
Yeah, spring is coming on us pretty strong. Hopefully here, the weather's getting warmer, and I like that. I want to quit wearing these down here to this refrigerator.
Yep.
Also, The fresh paint is not easy on the nostrils, but it is easy on the eyes. Down here, it's looking good. The floor and all, this is going to be a fancy room here for long. It may be above our, no, it'll be all right for us still. We'll qualify for it. And I'm proud of this group here, the council, because we are addressing the hospital and we're doing what we can in our oversight. And I'm sorry, but it takes time. It's just not an easy process. But we're going to get through it and hopefully save that hospital. That's all.
First of all, congratulate the CAPC for putting on the first annual music awards. I think they were great, and congratulations, David, and all the other winners. It was a great show, it was great entertainment through there, and it was just it was a wonderful event. And I also didn't get the memo about the black tie, and saw Mr. Holyfield there all dressed up, and I went, oh boy, I really missed that memo, and David and everybody. So it was a great time. Next year we'll know better. We've got a few events coming up in the next couple of weeks. Starting this Thursday, going through Sunday, is the 48th annual Springtime in the Ozarks. And that's going to be bringing in a lot of people into town. This is Easter weekend, so we've got music celebrating Jesus in the park, Friday 18th and the 19th from 11 to 5. And then Saturday the 19th, we have the Jesus Parade, which will kick off at 2 p.m. And we'll also have the Roman Easter Bunny and downtown Easter egg hunt, which will be April 19th from 10 to 5. And the Crescent Hotel Easter egg hunt will be Sunday, April 20th from 1 to 3. And then we have the Spring Fling Bike Rally. That will be Wednesday, April 23rd through April 27th up here at the Cat House. And then the 26th, we've got the Goggles, Gears, and Spring Steampunk Festival, Saturday, April 26th. So with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so done.